Hello everyone. Today I wanted to do a Q&A video trying my best to answer questions that I've been asked over the course of my first two videos on my Honda CR-V camper conversion build. So jumping right into it, I've had quite a few people ask, do I have schematics, plans, blueprints, or diagrams? Short answer is no, but to elaborate a little further, the build process was a lot of trial and error for me, having no experience of doing anything like this before. So I used a lot of cardboard. I would cut my cardboard templates, and then once I got the desired fit, I would lay the cardboard down on a sheet of plywood, make my trace of the template, and then make my cuts on the wood. So going forward though, another question I had, cost of the build. I unfortunately don't have an exact amount, but I figured it up, and I estimate that it was between $300 to $400 that I spent in materials. Now, as far as materials go, I used three 3/4 inch 4x8 sheets of birch plywood, and I used 4 2x4x8 boards, along with my hardware, which is screws, bolts, hinges, doorknobs for my cabinets on the other side. Which leads me to my next question: how much does it weigh? Well, with the wood and all the hardware, I estimate between 250 to 270 pounds. Now, I will say this: the weight isn't really so much an issue, but then when I started adding in all my gear, for mountain biking, for camping and backpacking, food and water and camera gear. Once I started adding in everything, and then also the stuff that I have up top, I also have fishing gear, and then of course I've got the cargo box and the awning, and then my mountain bike up here as well. Then the weight really becomes an issue. Matter of fact, I took a trip over to East Tennessee last week and did a little bit of overlanding, and so on my trip over, I stopped in at one of the truck stops that had a cat scale, and for the first time I actually weighed the vehicle as a whole, fully loaded. And the gross vehicle weight rating on the 2005 second gen Honda CR-V is 4,490 pounds, so 4,490 pounds. When I did my weigh-in with a full tank of gas, I weighed in at 4,680 pounds, so 4,680 pounds. And so that put me 190 pounds over the manufacturer's weight rating. Now, with that said, and that's fully loaded. So with that said, I did add the 3-inch lifted coil springs here in the rear, and they are stiffer springs. So they, for example, I believe the stock Honda coil springs has a weight rating of 400 pounds per square inch, whereas the stiffer Old Man Emu springs that I added has a weight rating of 650 pounds per square inch. So, weight, I will say this, weight fully loaded is an issue, but it's probably because I carry so much gear, and I could remedy that by just downsizing the amount of gear that I carry with me. The build itself, 250 pounds, I really don't think, considering what you get here, a very livable, functional design, isn't that bad. But now, I was also asked if I had any plans to rebuild it with lighter materials, and again, I don't think 250 pounds as it is now is that bad, but I think if I were to do another build in the future, I think the build can be made lighter and can be improved upon. Keep in mind, I had zero experience when I did this kind of thing, so this is the first time I've ever done anything like this, so I was very new. And I'm a bigger guy, so I would rather have built it or overbuilt it. Basically, I wanted a heavy-duty design that would hold my weight, that would stand up to the rigors of everyday use, and be functional. So what kind of gas mileage do I get with this? I'll say this: when it's fully loaded up, the last 3 tanks I filled up, I was averaging between 17 to 18 miles a gallon, which is a far cry from the manufacturer's rating of 24 to 27, 24 on city, 27 on the highway. I was averaging about 17 to 18 around the city and on the highway. Any issues with passenger blind spots while driving? I'm going to say no, that's not been an issue for me, but I also have a history of driving work vans and cargo vans. So if you drive those, you don't have any windows on either side in a lot of cases. So for me, the blind spot isn't an issue, and what I did to solve that is you can go to Walmart or you can go to any auto parts store and get the little blind spot mirrors that stick onto your side mirrors. And almost all your work vehicles and your work trucks and vans, they already have blind spot mirrors on them. Some of them you actually put them on there. Others, a lot of new vehicles like that, even SUVs actually, are coming with blind spot mirrors built into them, into the side mirrors. But I would definitely recommend, even if you don't have something like this blocking your view, go to your auto parts store, go to Walmart and pick up a cheap set of blind spot mirrors. You can get them that are roughly about that size that just stick on your side mirrors. And if you don't have them, definitely get them. It's certainly worth it and a worthy upgrade for just a few bucks, especially if you do a lot of driving in traffic and in bigger cities. But you know, since I do have those, no, the blind spots haven't been an issue. How many miles on the CRV? When I bought it, it had 125,000 miles, and at this very moment it's got 141,000. So I've got basically, in the 2 years that I've owned the vehicle, I've logged 16,000 miles. Can I sit upright while inside? Yes and no. I can't sit fully upright. I can sit upright if I bend my neck. But you know, I'm 6 feet tall and I do have a longer torso. If you're shorter or have a shorter torso, it shouldn't be an issue at all. So what kind of awning do I have? Well, I've got an ARB Touring 2000 by 2500. I bought it on fourwheelparts.com, and I got it on sale. I had a 20% coupon off for one full price item, plus they were offering free shipping and no tax on purchase during, I believe I bought it during a Memorial Day holiday. So I picked it up pretty cheap, actually. I think regularly they retail for like $225, $250, somewhere in that ballpark, and I got it for I think $180. So I got it well below retail, brand new, and it's actually one of my favorite modifications that I've done to the CRV. Another question I was asked is air ventilation and keeping bugs out. Well, you know, to me that goes hand in hand, honestly. There are several different ways you can do it. If you're pretty handy, which, you know, and have access to a sewing machine and know how to do that. I've seen where some people will take that no-seam mesh that you use that they use in tents, and they'll sew magnets in it, and they'll use that and put it over the window, on the outside of the windows, and roll their windows down so you get the air ventilation but you keep the bugs out. I've also seen where people do something similar, but they'll go to you know, one of the home improvement stores like Home Depot or Lowe's and get the screens that you use on your windows at home, and they'll cut to the size and then they'll put it up there with magnets on the outside of their vehicle. I went with I went with both of the pre-made options. There's two pre-made options that I know of off the top of my head. One's the bug sock and the other is the skeeter beater. And so I bought both, and I wanted to basically compare them and see which one works the best. And a future video, I do plan to actually do a comparison between the two, because as far as I know, I've seen videos where some people have used one but not the other. I plan on using both and doing a comparison of the two. So stay tuned for that if that's something that you might be interested in a future video. Another question I've been asked is solar or power setup. And you know, I've had people mention that up top I could put a solar panel on the roof rack, and I can put a battery and an inverter down here in this little cubby. And truth be told, having a permanent solar panel setup is really not something I need. I don't plan on running any kind of major electronics. I don't plan on having a refrigerator or a TV or anything like that. My power usages are basically, I've got 3 cameras. I've got a DSLR, I've got this little point and shoot that I'm filming on now, I've got a GoPro, I've got my cell phone and my laptop. I don't need anything permanent, and because of that I went with a portable solar setup, and I'm using the Jackery Explorer 240 battery station as well as the Jackery Solar Saga 60-watt panel. I like those because they're small, they're lightweight, they're compact, they're easy to travel with. They're in the front, beside the in between the passenger and driver's seat. I have the Jackery Explorer 240 battery station there, and then the Solar Saga panel folds up very compact, and I usually just stick it right down in here, and it actually has its own little carrying case and everything too, so that's nice. And for my needs, that fits the bill perfectly. So what to do for a bathroom? As of right now, I got a shovel and I dig a hole, but I understand that there are places that you know that's not something you can do, especially like out in the desert Southwest, where human waste doesn't decompose. So with that said, going forward in the future, I do plan on, I've shopped around and I'm leaning towards getting the Clean Waste Go Anywhere portable toilet, just because one, it folds up really nice and it stows away pretty easy, doesn't take up much space while traveling, and two, out of all the little portable foldable toilets that I've seen, it has the highest weight capacity. So I'm going to say with the higher weight capacity, it's probably more durable. It's got a 500-pound weight capacity, so next time I do end up getting a 20% off of one full price item at like REI or backcountry.com or one of the outdoor outlets, I'm probably going to pick that up. So the last question I want to answer is, why did I choose a second gen 2005 Honda CR-V as the vehicle for a camper conversion? Well, it came down to price and affordability. There was a good deal that came up not too far from me on a second gen 2005 Honda CR-V, and I wanted, with the second gen Honda CR-V, I wanted either the 2005 or 2006 because it had the upgraded transmission, and of course I also wanted an all-wheel drive model. Unfortunately, as I found out after I bought this, and I have to say, if I had the purchase to do over again, I would have looked at and purchased a different SUV than the Honda CR-V. And my big complaint about it, it's a great vehicle, but there's not very much in the way of aftermarket stuff that you can get to improve its off-road worthiness, if you will. Basically, the most you can do with this is about what I did, is put Old Man Emu, ARB, which is a parent company. They make lifted coil springs that you can put on the rear. As far as I know, I don't think they do the front. So you can put rear lifted coil springs, and there's some spacer kits you can get for it too. But for me, spacer kits, you know, yeah, I really didn't feel comfortable doing a lift with spacer kits. But you know, I did do the coil springs, and that's about it. You know, as far as other stuff, like when it comes to roof rack designs and everything else, basically the most you can do is like a Yakima or a Thule crossbars up top, and that's about it. You know, you can't really do any true overlanding roof rack setups. And so because of that, it's very limited in its application. I found that out after the fact. So if I'll just say this, it's a great vehicle, and you know, the particular kind of conversion I have here would be awesome and well suited if you plan on sticking to mostly pavement or graded smooth gravel roads. You know, if you do a lot of your camping in the front country, you know, which is developed campsites, and you know, you do a lot of traveling around the city or what have you, it's an excellent vehicle for that. But I'm not sure what my future plans may be, but I do have a big surprise and a big reveal coming up on this channel. So if you're interested in that and seeing what that may be, stay tuned and definitely hit that subscribe button. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and found some of my explanations and answers useful. Thank you very much.